Guess what, you guys? We're going back to Costa Rica for the Good Vibe Retreat.
You have 6 months to come and have the most amazing trip of your life. We're so excited to bring our tribe back to Costa Rica on February 1st through the 6th or February 8th through the 13th. And guess what? Right now, for a limited time, we have a $250 early bird deposit special. $250 secures your spot to Costa Rica. And when I tell you, this trip is transformational, not only just because you're going to meet a group of like-minded women, you're going to get fed amazing food, you're going to be sitting next to luscious, beautiful beaches. You walk away feeling like a new bitch.
Take a break. You've been thinking about it. This is your sign. Invest in yourself. Leave those kids behind. Leave that husband behind. And let us take care of you. You have nothing to even worry about. Just book your trip, book your ticket, and pull up.
Go check out our 5-star ratings. Click the link in this episode description. Go back and listen to some of our testimonials that we've shared over the last few months on the podcast. And we'll see you in the jungle. Welcome back to Good Moms Bad Choices. I'm Erica.
And I'm Milah.
Happy hump day, guys.
Happy Wednesday. How you feeling, my love?
I feel good. We have a new couch in our studio today. It's yellow, which makes me happy. So I feel joyful. I feel jubilant.
Jubilant. Jubilee. This is what happens when we try to use new words. That's why we keep using the same 12 big words that we know.
Container and...
Shut up.
If you are watching on YouTube or you're not, go to YouTube because we look cute today. I'm wearing one of our merch items. I have our hat on. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We kind of cute.
We got like a cute little 25,000 subscribers on YouTube over there.
Wow. If you haven't subscribed yet, come on.
And I be commenting back. I be in there. I be in the comments on YouTube cursing people out a little bit. So,
are YouTubers mean?
Yeah, they are. Because it's like the dark web, I feel like. There's no real profiles. They can hide better.
Yeah.
So if you got cursed out in our YouTube comments, just know that was me. It was me. But if you said nice things, I also said nice things back.
I'm usually the one cursing out people on Instagram. And getting flagged every time, even though people are disrespecting me. I'm like, you know what? I have a problem with this. So you can come here and talk shit, but I can't respond.
You go on the comment section deep dive of Instagram. Milah will send me text, she'll screenshot shit and text me, and I'm like, what is this post even from? And she's like, it's the one with Jordan Sparks. They said that we're witches, and they said we're all going to hell for pulling tarot cards.
Recently, I went through those text messages. I'm like, first of all, poor fucking Jordan. Second of all, the logic is crazy. Like, every time I think religion is a dying breed, I see these ridiculous things. It's like, Jordan, save yourself, the tarot cards. I'm like, someone was like, the moon, the stars, and the tarot. I was like, who in the fuck do you think made the moon and the stars, bitch? And the tarot. And I was like, you do realize the Bible was created by a bunch of prophets who got downloads. I'm like, sounds like magical witch shit to me.
She wasn't even a tarot card that she posted a picture of. It was like a picture
of a goddess card.
It was like a picture of a snake.
I know, but it was a card. It was a snake on a card.
It was about shedding old skin. I'm like, you guys are slow. And your titty is about to pop out at any moment. I just know it. I can see it. The nipple is about to go to war with that top.
Don't hate on my bottom cleavage. Oh no. Don't hate on my bottom cleavage. I just came to the conclusion, the internet is such a dumb place, especially leaving such a, we just got back from our retreat. I'm wearing a hat. My hair is not done. And I'm also still my Mexico vibes / Madonna. DJ makes the people come together. Ow. That's my, you remember that?
I hope she's okay. I need to do a check-in.
Yeah, maybe you should update me because your random updates with no end.
Listen, I got a post saying Madonna was not okay and that she was shitting on herself. So,
and then she
that was the
reported
last
to me
I
because I
heard.
totally needed to know, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Madonna's a motherfucking legend. We can't lose Madonna. There's certain people we just can't afford to lose. Madonna, Jamie Foxx.
Okay, well, I have news for you.
Angela Bassett.
We're gonna lose. You know,
we can't afford to lose Angela Bassett.
We're losing everyone.
I know, but not
including
right now.
us. This is not forever. This is a temporary.
Wow, I'm usually the dark one.
We're gonna lose everyone and everything.
Not lose.
They will transition, and you will no longer be able to be with them in the physical.
I know. I had that thought today. I was staring at my child as she slept this morning, and I was like, wow, one day I'm not going to be here.
That's the scariest thing on earth, to look at your child and be like, oh my God,
I'm not going to be here, but you're going to be here without me.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you going to be okay?
I always say this, being a parent is a highly scary liability, because once you have a kid, it's a liability outside of yourself that ain't shit you could do about it. You could just protect it, hopefully teach it, and if shit happens, you got to deal with it. Everything that comes. Whew, darkness. But I think that's the part of the enlightenment, right? Like not having an attachment to anything, and not an attachment to your kids, because obviously like there's healthy attachment, but just understanding that we are indestructible. We are infinity. Like we exist no matter what, forever, over and over again, in the ethers or in this amazing human form where I could have really good undercleavage.
Yeah, I've been staring at my child as she slept the past 2 nights and just thinking about how difficult it is to stay present all the time. And, you know, this weekend I went to see the Barbie movie, and I actually left my commentary on the Barbie movie in our Patreon. So make sure you go check out Patreon. Very important commentary for me because I am a movie critic, if you didn't know. And when I was watching the movie, I was looking at her and I was like, oh my God, like time has flown. I remember the days of me playing with Barbies and dolls, and now I have a child that is playing with maybe not Barbie so much anymore, but just how time evolves, traditions somehow stay the same, playing with dolls, all these different things that kind of get passed on along the way.
Who started playing with dolls?
I have no idea.
That's witchcraft.
Is it witchcraft? Or
I don't know. I just made it up.
I don't think it's witchcraft.
Everybody thinks everything's witchcraft. Might as well go with it.
I think it's more so
imagination. Imagination or conditioning. Because
I think it's a mixture of imagination and conditioning, because no one gave boys dolls.
Well, if you did it, they gave them action figures.
You know, they gave girls dolls
cars
to play moms.
Did they give us girls dolls to play moms, or did we just get the dolls and then play fucking moms? Because that's what we saw. We imitated our moms.
Maybe.
And like the family, and then they hunched.
Maybe. I mean, yeah. And that's what, I did appreciate that they addressed a lot of this stuff in the movie. And I actually feel like the movie was not for kids at all. I actually wouldn't recommend it for a kid.
Luna called me. The first thing she said to me on FaceTime, Barbie was inappropriate. I was like, Barbie was inappropriate. I was like, what do you mean? She said, Nana, you tell her. I was like, what the fuck is Barbie doing? She's like, they said bad words. I was like, what words? And her Nana was like, vagina, penis, and the F word. And I was like, Luna, vagina and penis are not bad words.
First of all, both of our children hear us curse all day long. So
I know, that's why I was like, my kid, my sensitive ass child. I guess we don't say like vagina and penis all day, but I keep telling her these are not bad words. And I was like, everybody has either a vagina or a penis. And I was like, I don't even know why they were saying it, because Barbie don't even got a vagina.
Well, that's what they said.
And she said, yeah, that's what they said. And I was like, well, that's a fact.
I do feel like a lot of the jokes totally went over. Actually, I would say like 90% of the jokes went over Irie's head. And it was more so about just like
a nostalgic, like
it was like entertainment for them. Like there were moments of dance, there were moments of singing, and then Barbie looking cute, and also hopefully the idea that Barbie should not be regarded as the societal norm of beauty. Hopefully penetrated her little mind. However, I'm not sure if she was able to fully grasp that, although that was a big part of the message.
Even though
was that because Barbie really thought that like she was saving women's lives and empowering women in her Barbie world, and then she went to like Earth and realized that like she's fucked up the world.
Oh.
So it was like a rude awakening because she's living in like this
Barbie
bubble
world
of like, I help women feel powerful and every day is great. And that's not.
And then she went into the real world and it's not.
And everyone hated her. So I appreciated that. There was a speech by America Ferrera that kind of brought tears to my eyes. It was like everything that I feel like we always talk about on the show in a 30-second speech. So I appreciated that. But I don't really think that movie's for kids.
Since we're movie critics now, I also watched a movie last night. What is it called?
Oh, I saw that.
Oh, Clone Tyrone. Is it called Clone Tyrone?
They cloned Tyrone.
They cloned Tyrone.
That was with Jamie Foxx and
right.
Tanoia. She's from Dear White People, and
yeah, there's a couple people in that movie.
Yeah,
it was like spooky, but like I liked it. I'm really liking Black people doing more like suspense, scary films because we haven't really been in that space a lot, you know, so it's nice to see us be able to have mainstream range, but mostly the movie is real. You know, it's like an extreme version, but like I appreciated the tone of the reality of the fact that we are targeted in society and brainwashed heavily with food, with music, with like all these things. And it's like, we be trying to act like we don't see it, but you know good and goddamn well, they're programming us, and they've continued to, and that's their like means of control. So I liked like the way they exemplified that in a very like spooky way, but then it makes you think like, oh shit, it's real.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it too. I just, you know, Jamie Foxx, he is just
it's epic.
He can just do anything. I loved him in that film. So yesterday, Milah and I were here at Good Media Studios. Check out our studio for all your podcasting needs. Link in bio. And we were here working, and then I opened the fridge, and I found some like mushrooms that Lizzie Jeff had left for us. And I recall her telling me that they were microdoses.
She did tell us that.
She's like, these are microdoses. They're very light.
Like goddess mushrooms. What are they called?
So yesterday I was like, you know what? Let me take some of this because I've been just been feeling not even edgy. I just feel like I needed something to make me just feel more grounded. So I was like, a little light microdose would be fine. Bitch, I took the mushroom or the chocolate, and like 20 minutes into it, I was like, I have that familiar feeling that you get, you know, that little tickle inside that you get. And then I had ordered food, and then suddenly I like was not hungry at all anymore. And then I was on my computer, and I was like, I can't even look at my computer. This is overwhelming. They were getting emails, and people were asking us to like answer questions. And I was like, oh no. And then I looked over at Milah, and I was like, bitch, I'm high. Like, this is not a microdose. Like, I'm on mushrooms.
And of course,
at work.
And of course, because she took one, I took one. And she was like, I feel high. And I was like, I think I'm okay. And then 8 seconds later, I was crying on the couch. I was like, I think not. I'm not okay. And we had clients here, and she was crying. I was like, let's get this together before they're like, what the fuck?
I know. I was wondering if they actually, now that I'm sitting here, I don't think they could see us. But Milah was like sitting on my lap, like crying. I'm holding her. I keep looking over because I think people are looking at us. Our clients are like, why the fuck are they crying in the studio?
You know, you know what it is too? It's like when we go on these retreats and we leave for so long, we really are in these containers that are so safe. You can literally do whatever you want. And it's totally normal and safe to cry midday in a group of people for no fucking reason at all, and no one questions it. You just get hugs and love. And so then you come back to this real world and you're like, people are gonna see me cry.
They're not in the container.
I know, they're like, bitch is crazy. But no, you know what it is? I think we need to microdose more. I think if we did it more like every day, like maybe we need to do it again today, or maybe not. I have shit to do, but I have studying. But if we did it every day, it probably wouldn't feel so intense.
Yeah, I think that sometimes because I go long bouts without taking mushrooms, that when it comes, it's really intense and it's actually really overly emotional at first. Whereas like I see some people take mushrooms and they're just like super happy and floaty immediately, where I have to like go through a whole process to get there. And so when I left you, I had to do like a lot of breathing in the car. I was like doing a lot of and then, you know, I will say it was a micro dose-ish because it didn't last long.
No.
That feeling, the initial feeling was intense at first, and then it kind of dissipated. And then I was with Irie, and then last night she was like, "Mommy, will you watch me jump on the trampoline?" And I was like, "Sure." And she did like at least 5 different dance performances on the trampoline, and I was so happy watching her. I was like, "Oh my God, this is the best shit ever." And she was killing it. Like
with her rhinestone boombox.
She had the hula hoop, and she was like she was like a hula hooper.
With like, a trampoline hula
on
hooper?
The trampoline doing all these. I wish I would have recorded it, but again, I was trying to be present. But it was really beautiful. Like she was really in her. I just saw her tap into just something where she felt totally free, and she was improvising, and she was just in her zone. And I'd never really seen her like that, because sometimes when I see her perform, like if she's doing with Luna, like she feels like insecure, like not insecure, but like
competitive.
She feels like she has to be competitive, or she's like trying to like emulate something. And I would kept telling her, and I was like, I don't know. I was like, is it the mushrooms talking? And I was like, baby, like you are really embodying like freedom right now. I see it. I see like the freedom coming through. I see all of the hours and hours and hours of hip hop classes that I've paid for.
Not hours and hours.
Finally, I see some rhythm happening here. I was like, wow, this is amazing. And so this morning I actually woke up and I worked out, and then I got the hula hoop, and I hulaed for 20 minutes. And I was like, I need to start doing this shit more often. Like,
yeah,
really?
You do. Remember, you bought 17 hula hoops for the retreat.
I know. I think
that you've shipped cross country.
I'm
worldwide.
I'm stepping into my hula hoop era. I think every morning it helped me kind of like connect to my body and just feeling really feminine. Mm-hmm. And also it's a workout. But I re-inspired it last night. I don't know if it was the mushrooms, my daughter, and the hula, but it did what it needed. It did what needed to be done.
You know what? It's really nice. Like, it's not. Well, obviously, it's nice watching our kids grow up, but they're at this age. You know, shit, they're about to be 9, and Luna is about to be 9, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And even this trip, just like seeing them be little women is just like a huge, like it's a huge quick shift, and like even come into their femininity and their sensuality and be okay with it, and like feminine. It's like, it's really a sight to see. On the beach the other day, we were taking pictures, and then the girls were like emulating our picture taking, but like Luna has these pictures and she's like looking back, like flipping her hair. I was like, okay. And she had like a slow motion video, and she's like all gentle and like graceful and like, and I'm like, okay, I see you, boo.
That's what I saw last night. I'm telling you, when Irie did her performance, I saw like
your femininity coming out.
Like the feminine essence of her. Yeah. Like not like the little kid. I mean, obviously she's a kid, but like I saw that essence come out of her, and I was like, wow, okay.
You know what? And I think a lot of times when parents see that, it scares them, because it's like you're acting grown, or like you're emulating something, but yet not only like, yes and no, like you're emulating everything you see, fucking Barbie and like Beyonce and like all these things, and us, but also like it's in our innate nature. Does that make sense? Innate nature. Mm-hmm. To, you know, be little women in training. And like, I'm just so happy that we're smart enough not to like discourage it or make it a thing, but just, it makes such a difference to be able to be empowered in your femininity at a young age and not be afraid of it, because I see so many women be afraid of themselves, be afraid of their bodies, be afraid of their sensuality. I went to the Freehand Hotel this weekend, and I was at the pool, and I met some women because I'm a friendly bitch, and one of the women gave me a piece of mushroom. We were talking. She was older a little bit. Shout out to Genevieve. She's probably never gonna know me again, but she was just like saying something about my bathing suit, and like I was just telling her about the retreat, and like we get naked and we like be free and we hang out, and like she's like, I could never be naked. I'm like, even with like a group of women, she's like, I can even be naked alone. And I was like, huh. And I know that this is to be true for a lot of women. You know, we start to age and our bodies like do things differently, or we have babies, and then it's harder for us to embrace the things that, you know, the standard of what our bodies are supposed to look like. But like really truly, like that's our power and like our sensuality. When you lose that, you're losing a part of yourself. And it doesn't matter what size or what happens as you evolve. It's like it's essential part of our existence, and acknowledging it and watering it. And I'm just like, it's something that you have to start doing even in childhood, you know, instead of like confusing women by being like, stop doing that, stop being that way, you know. Even like the shit my parents used to get on me about, like I refused, like wearing fucking glitter on eyelids, tying up the shirt, you know, like Luna does that, and I used to be like, who do you think you are? And now I'm just like, come on, girl, you know what I mean? I remember being like 6 years old and having those little plastic like high heels and clickety clacketing all over the supermarket, all over places. Like I was going somewhere. I don't even think you're supposed to wear those motherfuckers outside. But I was clickety clacketing. But that's who I am right now, a clickety clacking ass high heel wearing bitch. And my dad talked shit to me and called me grown and stuff, but like I still wore them. I cried. But you know, just like the world, creating an environment for our girls that encourage them and embrace their sensuality and their femininity really could like essentially are tools that are going to like carry them for a long time, especially in a world that men are going to tell them they're too much, and other women and all these things are like to fear their bodies in ways.
No, I was really excited to, even this morning, because I was still thinking about it this morning, watching her, because I was really in awe. And I was like, I want her to know, like, that was beautiful. And so I woke her up and I was like, I'm still thinking about yesterday. And I was just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, like what bitch?
I'm like, that was so amazing. You were really like doing your thing. And she knew it. She felt really confident because she did one song and she was like, I want to do, oh, you know what then she also did? She was on, she's like, what song should I do? She's like, oh wait, 1 second. I need to talk to him. What did she call them? Her, what did she call them? She was like talking to people on the trampoline. She was like, oh, hold on. It's like my spiritual like crew or something. She's like, 1 second. I need to ask my spiritual crew. And then she went like this. And then she was like talking to them. And she's like, okay. Yep. Okay, so we want to do Rihanna Umbrella.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, wow. And she kept doing that. And I was like, I've never seen her do that before. I was like, where did this come from? Like, is she like tapping in some way that I've missed or something? Or like, is this moment right now where she's tapping in? Because she did that, and then I saw her do something I've never seen her do before. So it was really powerful, and that's why I think it stuck with me the most, especially that, because I was like, who the fuck is she talking to? Right. But I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy that whatever spiritual crew she's calling in, that she knows that she can do that. I actually need to ask her about that, because I was like, huh.
Well, you know what I didn't consider, and then I thought about, because okay, so this time the girls have come with us, you know, the second half of many retreats, but this time they stayed on property, even though we hid them most of the time.
And they kept saying, "Are you going to stop hiding us from the girls?
You're hiding us from the girls." I feel like Drake, hiding our kids from the world, but. You know, LaJayla, who was one of our healers who came and assisted and gave Akashic readings and did our cacao ceremony, who's amazing. She mentioned to me in my reading, she was like, this is really powerful for the girls. Just being in this space, they are getting the medicine just being here on the property. Like, they don't even have to be completely, like, they don't have to be involved in anything, but they are, you know, getting this medicine. And one day, they were begging us to do things, and I had said no 5 times. So finally, it was my turn. I'm like, okay, let's go to the beach. Also, I was just So we went to the beach, and the water was being a little bit aggressive, and I was like, we need to ask the ocean to let us enter her, and then so we held hands, and I was like, ocean, come, may we please enter? And then she slowed, and then we got in, and then like Luna was like, crabs. I was like, you can't disrespect the ocean. You can't disrespect its creatures and want to get in. So we started to talk to her, and then I was like, listen to me, girls. Put your hands on the sand. Put your hands at the shore. And they're like looking at me, and I was like, dear ocean. And we like did a whole thing like, thank you for providing for us, thank you for letting us like eat from you, let us like for helping us thrive. And so they like repeated after me, and I was like, and then they're looking at me and like they're like whatever, but I'm like, they think I'm crazy. But then 3 days later we went to the beach, and they were like, the ocean said get in. And I was like, I'm drinking. And then Irie was like, ocean, her mom's drinking right now. I was like, you smart ass. But it's true, like they're being attuned through us, you know, like just simply the energy of seeing and hearing what's happening. Because even when I got that reading, they were downstairs, but they couldn't really hear. But I'm sure they're like, what the fuck are they up there doing? And hearing bits and pieces of it. And I was like kind of sharing with Luna like who we were to each other in a different life, that we were husband and wife. And she's like, what? And like, but just having the mindset and the scope, broadening the scope, because as a kid, if your parents don't believe in certain things, a lot of times you don't even think of those things. So for her even to have the 2 cents of like, okay, hey, we could talk to the ocean, hey, we could talk to spirit guides, hey, I can, you know, like we've maybe lived other times and we've been here together before. It just broadens their like young minds' imagination. It's like they're gonna have to do so much less work undoing the socialization, because they've been with us in these spaces, and it really is a beautiful thing to witness. And like even just as moms, we say things and we plant seeds, and then we keep going, and we hope that it like imprints on them, but it does. And you know, this brings me to our affirmation. Luna was having a like being scared to go to sleep and saying she was scared. And I was like, I'm brave, I'm strong, I'm powerful. Nothing's coming to get me. I'm safe. I'm brave, I'm strong, I'm powerful. Nothing's coming to get me. I'm safe. And like a few weeks later, she was like getting nervous, like she was getting scared or something. And out of nowhere, she was like, I'm brave, I'm strong, I'm powerful. Nothing's coming to get me. I'm safe. And I was like, yes. Oh my gosh, I remembered it. I didn't even remember it. And I was like, okay, like it reminded me that she's always listening and she's always watching. And like, it's powerful to plant these small seeds of, there are powers outside of us that you can tap into, you know? So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's true. I guess I didn't correlate the experience that we had in Mexico with this experience that I witnessed yesterday, but it's definitely, they're definitely linked. And even you saying that, you know, Luna like adopting that practice or adopting that affirmation, even before Irie was doing her thing, she was like, okay, I'm going to take some deep breaths. And so she was like, and I noticed like there was a difference between when she didn't take those deep breaths and her trampoline performance versus when she did. Like she just performed better, and she knows that is a tool that she needs to use when she wants to focus, ground, right. And she wants to ground. So I am grateful that we've been able to, you know, create these spaces for them to come, even if we are hiding them from the world.
We didn't hide them.
We didn't want to hide them, but you know, a lot of these women are coming to
get away from their kids.
And you know, they don't. I know for me, like I don't want to swim in a pool with a bunch of kids.
No, I don't.
When I'm on my retreat, like no thanks.
Even though we let them get in the pool the last day, and I like them being able to see us like adorn ourselves, be half naked, and go back out, come back in, and like.
I know they saw a lot of outfit changes and transitions in between the retreats, between us like wearing lingerie, half naked, us coming in wearing like witchy shit and long gloves with glitter on our eyes, and
us howling, hearing people scream, seeing other women walk around naked, like even if it was briefly, you know. And I think it is really important for them to. Just be attuned in that space and see what it looks like for women outside of us to be naked and to be free and to be in a circle. So, and then Luna said something to me, which I was like, I hadn't even thought about. And she's like, I was like, our hope is that this is our first time here, and we're gonna do another location, so we can continue to like explore and find and travel to new places together. And she was like, when you guys are done with the Good Vibe retreat, are me and Irie gonna take it? I was like, yes, you are, baby. But I was like, her thought process, like even understanding, like this is something that she wants to do, even if she's not really 100% sure what the fuck we're doing over there, she's with it, And I'm like, I'm proud,
Yeah. Is it backwood time?
It is.
I need to smoke a backwood.
Okay, I rolled the vanilla, but let me just add my little honey.
I'm still processing everything that happened at the retreat. This was our first time going away from Costa Rica and hosting women in a different space, and it was different. It felt different, but in the best ways possible. I think there's definitely a different energy when you're next to the ocean versus tucked away into the jungle. Both of these groups were a lot more intimate. They were smaller groups than we've had before.
We had a lot of people come back. We had 3 people who had come on other retreats that came to this one, which is like is super affirming for us, and it feels really good that you trust. Like you had such a good time the first time. Every time I do this, I feel like oddly like sexual, even though I don't really like skinny penises.
That's a long backwood.
No, it's just how I rolled it. Sorry, I got distracted because I have a potty brain. What were you thinking?
No, I was just thinking. No, I was saying it is affirming, and even we just announced our next retreat in Costa Rica in February next year, and we already have 4 girls from this retreat that are coming to that retreat. So it makes me feel good that we've created, these circles where women feel safe, where they feel recharged. A lot of these women went home and said, I feel activated. I'm not exhausted anymore. I'm ready to make my dreams come true. I'm ready to divorce my husband. I'm ready to love on my husband. I'm ready to stop doubting myself. I'm ready to change my career. I'm ready to level up in my career. And that's really the purpose of the retreat, is to question everything and rebuild the best parts of yourself.
I mean, just really come back to your power. And I saw that happen. And it is the most fucking rewarding thing I've ever seen. Like, to see people come one way and just slowly blossom out of their comfort zones is literally the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Like, I'm thinking of like Connie, who's like quiet, but then by like the last day was like twerking in the pool. Or even Ashley, like the first time she came until this time she came, twerking in the pool. She's like, take a picture of me, butt ass naked. And I'm like, I love you. I mean,
I would say like her transition has been the most beautiful thing I think I've ever witnessed, to be honest, because where she was at in our retreat last year versus this year, it's a totally different person.
It is. And even she recognizes it. And we had someone
I'm
who
like so proud of her.
So proud. Like, I went out one night because I'm thirsty and I really wanted to go salsa dancing, but it was like the first night the girls got there. So I was like, anybody want to go out? And everyone was tired. No one to go. So I was like, fuck it. Ashley was like, I'll go. I was like, okay. She barely spoke the first retreat. She was like, we're out here. I was like, okay. And then she offered some really beautiful words to, another woman came who was like releasing heavy, and she recognized that in her, and she was like, and there was a moment me and Erica were embracing that woman, and Ashley witnessed it, and she told her, she's like, I really wanted to tell you that was me last year, and I feel totally different. So it really brings me joy to see you experiencing what I experienced last year, and just giving her encouragement that like everything can change after this, because it has for her, And it really is the most rewarding, most beautiful, purposeful shit. I know I say this every time, but like every time I do this, I'm so affirmed that I'm doing the right thing. I'm so clear that women, especially brown and black women, really need spaces and each other to just be free. And we've been so contained and so hardcore because we got to do this, get the shit done, because sometimes we're not protected, because sometimes we're not supported, because sometimes we don't feel protected or supported. And so that there's no time for crying, there's no time for like giggling and bullshitting, there's no like, I'm naked, why? So it's just like giving women the opportunity to tap into that space is medicine. And I think we underestimate what medicine looks like. You think you pop a Xanax or an Advil or whatever the doctor prescribes to you, and you think, oh, this is medicine. But no, it's like being around genuine ass women. It's like,
well, it's even too, like, I think about therapy, and you can sit in therapy for hours and hours and months and slowly start to feel the effects of whatever the work is that you're working on. I feel like in these short 5 days, it is like therapy on crack, because you're actually putting so much of the work into practice. You're forced to get out of your comfort zone and you're excited to do it. Whereas therapy a lot of times is like a singular practice that you have to work on by yourself. But when you're seeing women that are all in different maybe aspects of their life, journeys of their life, taking off their mask, it's giving women permission to do things that they may not ever get to do just being in therapy and saying, okay, now go home and put this conversation into practice, And I think that's why we see such a rapid transformation in these women's lives afterwards. And I'm not a therapist. But
however, Ashley's therapist recommended that she go on another retreat, and that made me feel really happy. And I'm like, more therapists should recommend retreats like this so that women can have these experiences, because it truly, fuck the prescription, this is the prescription,
right?
And when she told me her therapist recommended it, I was like, smart therapist.
No, it's true. I think even for me, it's extreme therapy, and I've had to face a lot of things too. Even this last retreat, I realized I think I don't necessarily label myself as an empath. I think maybe because my idea of what an empath looks like, I don't know. I have, I guess, a specific view on what an empath looks like. I realized that I am in a different way, and that I take on a lot of energy unwillingly, almost. Like, I don't even realize I'm taking on energy, because I feel like I'm really good with like, okay, well, like, I know how to compartmentalize this like boundary. Like, oh my gosh, she's going through a release. I'm going to be here to support her, and we're going to work through this, and that's that. But I realized I have to have things in place if I'm going to be in these spaces, facilitating and also participating in the medicine with these women that allow me to cleanse from these experiences. And I'm still, I feel like, even today and now, undoing some of the, I don't want to say, I guess undoing some of the, releasing some of the feelings that I've taken on from other people that I didn't even realize I took on. Like when we were supporting someone through, when we did our mushroom ceremony, we were supporting her. I saw a lot of women that I know in her, and also a fear of like, oh, if I don't choose myself, I could be right here. And it scared me. And I carried that with me. And, when you are doing this kind of work, what I've realized is you have to have things in place afterwards to cleanse yourself and to feel like, okay, those things are not part of me. I've helped someone transition through this journey, but it's not part of my journey.
It's not mine.
And I haven't quite figured that out yet, how to do that. I know that like after these experiences, I probably need to take like 4 days to myself and do a lot of like spiritual shit for myself, saging, meditating, crying, swimming, massaging, but like I really took that for granted, or I think people take that for granted, because even I was trying to explain to my mom how I was feeling and she didn't understand. She was just like, well, yeah, babe, you can't take on people's energy. I'm like, I don't think you get it. Like
It's intimate and
it's not like
personal, yeah.
it's not like I don't have control over it.
Right.
It's beyond my control. It's not something that I'm like, okay, I had this conversation, it was heavy, but that's your shit and this is my shit. Yes, I can do that. But when there's like a lot of feminine energy and just this power moving through the groups, it's almost like it is an invisible like latch on to you. Like you don't even realize it's happening.
Well, I think what I've discovered in the retreats is that, like, especially in that moment, in a lot of moments, seeing people release, seeing people, like, hearing people's the things that they're releasing, it's like it's all very similar. We've all experienced similar things, and that's the thing. It's like it's all of ours. It's collective, you know, and it's not personal to us, but there's a collective attachment because I know that feeling. I understand what that looks like. I understand if you don't release, this is what it could look like. You see your mother, you see your grandma, you see, you know, friends that refuse to, you know, give themselves permission to release. And then you see like what can happen if you don't honor that part of you and you don't have practice. And it is scary. That shit scared me too. And I saw my mom and I saw like, you know, there's this you know, angry black woman stigma. And we all hate it, you know, like, but it's like, that's the stereotype. And it took me a lot. Like I realized that exists because, yeah, bitches can be angry if everything is put on you over and over and over and over again, and yet there are no tools to show you how to move out of those spaces and release it and choose yourself. And it's scary. It's scary if I, like, even for me, if I hadn't come into this, you know, fallen into this space, who I could have become. And it's like, choosing joy and choosing yourself is a real life job, and it's a real life it should be a huge priority for us because it's not sustainable otherwise. And then you'll be angry and bitter and resentful, and you don't even fucking know why. And it's because you haven't given yourself the opportunity to like pour it back out.
I'm sorry, I'm having this like vision of like what I'm trying to explain, and it's almost like a lot of these women are coming to do shadow work, whether or not they realize it or not. And within these shadows, there's these egos, there's these alter egos that start to kind of come off of their bodies, and they start to kind of just wander around trying to find somewhere else to latch onto. Like almost like these shadows that are just like walking through the property of our retreat. Like, okay, well, she's trying to get rid of me. Where do I go now? And it's like
The ocean.
But I felt like these shadows and these feelings and these energies were like latching on to me in ways. Not all of them, but there's a residualness that's happening as someone that's facilitating the retreat. And it's almost like a testing of my own practices. It's like, oh, bitch, you want to crack these bitches open? Oh, you want their shit to spill out? Okay, well, I'm going to come for you. And what are you going to do about it? What practices do you have in place to protect yourself from this type of energy? And I realized that I didn't have, I don't want to say the armor, because I don't want to have armor when I'm in these spaces, but I do have to have a level of protection. And I didn't, and I haven't. And so I think moving forward, because I'm dedicated to this journey of retreating and creating these circles for women, that I do have to figure out what that means for myself. And that's leaning on other women that have been in this space longer than me and asking them, like, what the fuck do you do after an experience like that? Because a bitch was crying in the room for like 3 hours and I couldn't explain why. And even my daughter came in, she's like, Mommy, are you okay? And I was like, oh my God, am I traumatizing her? She's like, one time when I was in Mexico, my mom was leading retreats and then she cried in the room for 3 hours and I kept coming in and she was still crying.
Not sure why.
And it's like, Mommy wasn't sure either. But I think now that I'm thinking about it, that's really what it kind of felt like. It felt like this overspill of things that women had been harboring for so long that had finally started to kind of release, and that energy has to go somewhere. And it either goes, like you said, to the ocean, to the water, or it can attach to other people. And it was kind of heavy.
It gets heavy, but for me, I feel like I have such, I don't know, like it's new, it's different, but I'm so clear about that outcome. You know what I mean? Like I can physically see the energy move out, and that brings me joy, you know? And like sometimes we don't, like we're not perfect people, and we're going on intuition, and but seeing it release from people, seeing people purge and kind of finally let go is so rewarding. And like I am an empath, like I can feel things very deeply. I'm also like, I don't know, I think I'm this trip kind of solidified and affirmed for me how much this is my work. And so like I'm not afraid of it. I'm just like I can embrace the hard times because I know I know the other side of it. I think I do feel the sadness that there are women who will never experience this. There are women who will take that pain and that hurt to the grave and to their next life, and maybe their next life after that, you know, and like to have the privilege of giving someone the opportunity to put that shit down right now is it's so rewarding. It also is scary is that like I have the power to facilitate that, and also I may not ever save some of the closest people to me. And not save, but like help. Like I know these tools, but like there are people that are so close to me that they can't receive the medicine for
Oh
me.
no, they won't. They won't, and they can't because they've judged you or judged me, and that's the whole reason people come on the retreat and why we encourage people to come by themselves, because people will hold you to a certain standard or to your choices that you've made and cannot see you as a healer, cannot see you as someone that can facilitate like a heart opening experience for someone, a transformation, a breakthrough. And that's why it's so important for women to come alone on these retreats. But also, it is heartbreaking to know that there's certain people that, not that like we're going to go and save all of our friends, but like just the fact that we can't even see each other eye to eye in that way. Because honestly, like part of that, there's healing for me or for you with that person if they were open to it. It would be a mutual exchange of healing.
It's always a mutual,
you know? And so it is. I think about like some of the women in my life, my mom, you know, this is our second time we've had a mom and daughter come on the retreat, and more, I envy it.
Me too.
I'm like, and my mom said she wanted to come this last one, and I was like, oh my God. But then also I was like, please don't. I'm scared. But I know, I hope that one day we can. And I hope that one day I won't feel that way. And I hope that she'll be able to come and receive something from me, and I will be able to receive something from her that maybe I haven't been able to receive in our everyday life.
I I think when women come, like they don't know us, and you know, it's not, so they don't have a previous expectation of how we're supposed to show up. But I think a lot of times in the worlds that we live in general, it's like, oh, you don't have a degree in healing, you don't have a therapy degree, or you didn't
do 22 hours of Reiki training,
right, or whatever the fuck, whatever oh, you didn't get your therapy license or whatever, like whatever justifies putting your stuff down and telling someone the truth, you know, being vulnerable with somebody, whatever that is, that's like, oh, this person's my therapist, so she's eligible and has credentials enough to receive what I'm saying. And sometimes those bitches are fucked up too, and they haven't put their shit down, and then it's projecting back onto you. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, it's unfortunate that we live in a society that has like so much just really white supremacy that doesn't allow us to see people for what they are. Because when I look at myself in this space, it's backward is good. There's imposter syndrome sometimes, and there's fear, and there's like doubtfulness about, you know, what I should be doing or how to do it. But I realize like the person that I've always been, like I'm very empathetic, I'm very compassionate, I want to talk to people, I want to stare into your eyes, I want people to loosen up, I want people to accept themselves, you know, like that's always just kind of been who I am. But I'm like, oh, like all these traits are traits that have always existed in me.
Well, the traits is what your expertise is. Do you know what I mean?
Right, but we're so busy trying to go learn traits from some.
That is your expertise.
From some, some campus that we forget to actually scan ourselves and say, like, this is actually what I'm good at. I heal because I like to talk to bitches in the bathroom. Every time, like, I go out and I don't have to do much, and women will come to me, and I'm like, you want to be my friend? But it's because I have a friendly demeanor. I don't think I feel intimidating, and so I can make friends easily. But in this space, it's just like we were doing mushrooms, and we're like in this beautiful on the fucking ocean, and I just watched, like, it was Nisha and I think who's our fairy?
Nisha.
No, Stacy. Nisha and Stacy were just like dancing together, like holding each other, twirling in the sunlight. And I just started to cry because I'm like, as soon as I doubt anything that I'm doing, it's like, it's not what you're doing, it's who you are. And it brought me so much joy to bring someone else joy. And that's really, like, if you're an empath, that's really what you're supposed to be doing, is because if you're feeling all the time and you're surrounded by places and people that are not feeling good, it's a burden. But if you're an empath and you're creating pleasurable spaces for other people and that are people who are truly in joy, then you are walking in your purpose. And, there were a couple things that just affirmed that for me in this, my Akashic readings, a lot of cards that we pulled. In fact, after we supported that woman that night, it was, we did a self-devotion ceremony where we dressed up in lingerie, we watched the sunset, and we dance together and we howl and we feel like sensual and sexy in our bodies. And afterwards we just kind of like, everybody went down and there was just Erica and I, and then Erin, shout out to Erin, our girl, was up there, and she was just like, I just want to tell you that you guys are walking in your purpose and I can see it, and I'm really proud of you. And I just was like, you can see it? You think so? Like, thank you, thank you. And I feel that and I receive that. And then I pulled a card and it was like, yeah, you're walking in your purpose.
Yeah.
Like you're walking in your purpose, and it may not be the conventional way.
Yeah, that was really powerful, that moment.
That moment was super powerful. And we all cried. Just cried in around the altar, in the darkness under the moon, and then laughed hysterically. And it was just like, this is how it always has been historically, and this is a part of culture of, like, the culture of being a woman that has been forgotten. And I deeply feel that it is our purpose and our calling to bring back those circles and bring back and normalize these practices, and really bring Black women and brown women and women in general to the understanding that this is in our nature, and it's not some devil witch shit. You know what I mean? It's some God shit. This is actually the best way, the best path to God is through you. And if you are avoiding parts of yourself, if you're not healing places that hurt, you will not be able to access that God.
You can go to every fucking sermon, I swear to God.
Read every Bible verse.
Every verse, every sermon, every Bible study, every private meeting, every counseling session. And it's so true.
And speaking of that, after one of our devotion dances, we're literally all half naked. Some of us are naked. Like, this is like, just everyone's questioning, like, who can come? If I'm white, can I come? If I'm Black, if I'm Christian, like, literally everybody comes. Doesn't matter how old you are. We have women as old as 70, if women as young as 22, 21. It's like, if you come in to get the medicine, it's for everybody. There are no, like, the roles of, like, age and like your career, all that shit goes out the window. We're just women. Girls, really. When I looked at us in a circle, I was like, we're just little girls playing, and we all deserve, like, space to play as little girls together and hug and, like, it's just, so we're all standing in a circle after our session, and one of the girls is like, first she pulled a huge bottle of Don Julio out of her room, like, poured tequila in everybody's mouth.
Drove the boat.
Drove the boat.
Drove the boat.
And then afterwards, she was like, I'd like to share something. I'm like, okay. She's like 3 Corinthians 33:16. I was like, oh, okay. She gave us a sermon, okay? Like a full sermon. And, it took me a minute. First of all, everybody's welcomed. I personally am not like a Bible goer. That's not like my form of practice, but I was like, let's welcome her and like in her spiritual practice and welcome it here. And it was literally a 4-minute sermon and we were all like almost butt ass naked. So it was kind of ironic. So it was kind of funny. So we all kind of started laughing because we're like, not us praying to Jesus and our titties out.
Not us playing in the blood of Christ.
But, and everyone, because people come from so many walks of life, there are people who have been deeply traumatized from religion. There are people who are very religious. There are people who, initially didn't fuck with the stars and the moon, and now they're like, maybe I do, So it's a really good, safe place to practice acceptance of all people, of all types of things, of all practices, and like be able to be like, that's not for me. However, I'm here to support you, girl. You know what I mean? Like maybe don't put the blood of Christ on me, but if you do, cool. But it's just like
it's funny. Like I'm thinking of it's a great place to put into practice acceptance and rebuilding your trust and love for women.
Yes, for people.
No, for women, I think too, because a lot of women come like they judge each other. You know what I mean? Like we don't give each other any grace. No. And when you go into this space, this container where you fall in love with someone, you're like, oh my God, I love this trait about you. And then they do some weird shit and you're like, do I love you? But then you're like, oh, I love you again. It's like you battle this thing back and forth because you're dealing with people from all different walks of life with different personalities. And ultimately at the end, there is this lesson that, yes, I do. And like we have our differences but you're at still the ultimate, at the end of the day, at the core, we are all just women, humans having this human experience. And there's a level of patience that I think that I hope is a gift for the women that come to, and acceptance and love despite whatever differences you think you have.
Because you will leave with friends you would never have probably regularly approached, have ever met. And it gives you this level of self-awareness to say, what is it about this person I don't like? I don't even know him. And are those real reasons? Even for me, I just came off this tantra retreat, and it was school. So a lot of these people I'm seeing on Zoom, and there was one girl who's my friend, and she kind of irritated me on Zoom because she was telling long stories, and I was just like, I had made up in my mind like we're probably not like going to be the besties, and then we got there, and I was like, I fuck with you, and it really is a reminder that connection, and it's something that we've grown, we've alienated ourselves away from, but like people are people, and we have to see people as people, white, black, whatever, and it's so important to be able to do that. And so often we're on our screens that we don't have the opportunity to sit and stare in somebody's eyes and then be like, oh, your tears are my tears because I was just crying last night, or let me hold you, let me console you. But like this idea that like existence really is a part of existence is connection. And if we try to go around that and separate ourselves from others, that's also how resentment forms and like anger, because you're not giving yourself the same self-acceptance, because you're not giving others the same acceptance.
Yeah. Anger, sickness. I just had this thought like of all the women in our wombs like being connected by this like thread.
Well, what I was thinking about in the circle? I was thinking about Sylvia and like, everybody imagine a red cord from your vagina
to the center
of the earth. But like I was thinking that like we're connected this way, and also our wombs are connected to the center of the earth, which are connected to the umbilical cords of the trees, the roots that grow around us and support us and help us breathe, and it's like this is circular system, and we're a part of that system. Our wombs are a part of that system.
They are, but I think we've been so disconnected from our wombs, and when you get into a space like this near water with all this feminine energy where women are just ready to let go, like there's this deep connection that happens where you are able to truly accept everyone for every weird, fucked up, funny, strange, beautiful little part of them, you know? And that's why the circles are important, because women, we need to not only connect back to ourselves, but we need to connect back to one another, and we need to forgive one another, and we need to trust one another, because I've seen it happen. I've seen the power when we all are just in flow. Like when we're sitting around the dinner table and we're flowing, and it's what it's about, and it's what they don't want us to have. And they've definitely torn that part away. And so I'm excited when I see other women having retreats too. Like, so many women are awakening to this idea that we need to sit together.
Yeah. And it's, the womb is what connects us. And, you know, like, this is badass birthing August. And so I'm happy we're starting this way, just with like the womb. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's our heart. It really is one and the same. And if you could disconnect from your womb and the power that it holds, then you're kind of disconnecting and hardening your heart. And I realize that when we can come together as our true selves and connect in a circle and like really embrace like each other and each other's femininity, it births something. And like just like Eric and I, we talk about this a lot, that, you know, our relationship birthed this studio, birthed this podcast, birthed this sisterhood. And really, it's an entity that was created, you know, when we linked up and we decided we're going to be true friends and really allow each other this true bubble of space to show up as like something higher than us took place. And that's exactly what happens when we're in these circles, is that an entity is created, and it's really putting back the pieces of this ancient like connection that we have to sisterhood, to each other. And it's like, it really is healing the world. You can't heal the world without healing the women, and you can't heal the women without healing the relationships that we have with one another. Yeah. And I'm just like so grateful that our connection, our entity, birthed these spaces, birthed the Good Vibe Retreat, birthed this power that we both innately have begun to recognize and uncover through our relationship. And now we've had the opportunity to like allow it to uncover the relationships with other people and the power of other people. And like, there are friends from the retreat, besties. The two girls that came together, were on a trip together, came back together. And the truth was, I didn't even realize they were like that close even during the retreat, but they traveled together, they stayed together, and they've been in contact. And like, that happens all the time, but we underestimate how important that is to our healing. And we prioritize.
We can't do it alone.
We cannot do it alone.
No, you can't. That was beautifully said, my love.
Thank you.
That's gorgeous.
Thank you. Womb power. Rum 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 rum. We just chanted the seed syllable for fire element, which is at your root chakra. It's your sex chakra, and it is for magnetization. So if you want to magnetize something, bring it to you. That's how you tap in. Tapping into the elements of yourself and of the earth. So
you're such a witch.
I'm such a witch.
How dare you use nature and elements to conjure up things for yourself?
I know. How
crazy.
Why else would God put him here?
Why would you do that? Why would you use what God put here? How dare you?
The devil.
Let's go to a lab and make something up.
Generic is how you do it. That's what Jesus wanted. Plastic.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's just... it's the simple things that are truly going to be our saviors. And that's the shit that God herself made.
Keep it simple, baby.
Fire, earth, water, space. air.
I was thinking that today, actually. Like, truly, keep it simple. Keep the shit simple. Wellness does not need to be your wellness, your spiritual, physical. It does not have to be a 22-step routine. Like, you can go to the ocean and feel good. You can masturbate and feel good. You know, like, I can hula hoop this morning, and that brought me joy and set me off this morning because I woke up with attitude, and then I hula hooped and I felt so much better. And I was like, this was the simplest shit I could have done.
Free.
Inspired by my daughter. Crazy.
Well, I mean, I think we need to.
Well, we all know, obviously, they're like, you know, they're the closest thing to God, right? We all say that.
And what do they do all day? Play and eat and be merry.
Yeah. So I think that's too why the retreat is special too, because it feels like adult camp, and we do kind of keep it simple. It's very basic. It's not basic because, you know, we're like, you know, some Lux bitches, but basic in the ideas of the practices that we're encouraging. Hey, scream, bitch.
Luxury amenities.
Oh my God. The other day
basic medicine.
I needed to scream, and I was like, I got my pillow and I screamed so fucking loud, and I was like, I need to text the Discord and tell them,
Scream.
hey, today I'm going to scream in the pillow challenge. I think women need to scream in pillows at least once a week. Actually, if you're listening right now, I'm going to encourage you.
Or in your car, if you're in your car.
If you're in your car, yes, but you're driving and sometimes you got to get out of control. So I want to encourage you to get that pillow, put your face in it, and scream for at least 1 minute. Matter of fact, set a timer, because
it's
just
hard
when you
to scream
think
for 1 minute.
No, it's not. You just have to take breaks. But just when you think you've gotten enough out, there's more. And I think that's also kind of like what I've experienced at the retreat when we do our workshop, is that there's always more, you know? And as women, like, we don't release in that way, especially don't scream.
Well, because you think it's crazy.
Exactly.
Like, someone's going to think I'm crazy.
Exactly. But why were we given these voices to only speak at a certain decimal all the time that makes people feel comfortable? No, we were given it to fucking use it. And I think some people, like, not most people, they have never screamed ever, except in maybe an argument.
Right.
You know, and even then it wasn't loud enough. It wasn't really what you felt. And so you still...
Or it just comes out misplaced.
So you still suppressed it, and you suppressed it.
Well, you don't say certain things, yeah, because you're worried about the other person's feelings. That's, you know, I realized too, we did Temescal ceremony, and you go into a pitch black dark oven, essentially. There's hot rocks in the center, and you pour water over them with some shamans. And the first thing I noticed is that the darkness gives people power over their voice. Obviously, it's the hot ass circumstances too, but it's the darkness where you get to hear people's sounds, their primal groans, their moans, that if I could see you, or if I could see, if I could identify who that noise was coming from, I would be more self-conscious than to do it. And like, it's crazy how we just I don't know the word I'm looking for, like, deprive ourselves of the privilege of using our voice, even on a very primal sound level. But you see kids do it all the time. They throw tantrums, they scream.
Yes.
Don't give a fuck where they're at, Target. And the first thing you're like, shut the fuck up, you're embarrassing us, you know?
Yeah. No, it's true. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why kids, they're such powerful beings, and that's why it's so important to try to preserve that part of them and trying to awaken that part of us. Screaming is, like, again, keeping it simple. It's such a basic concept. It's such a basic release that you could do to make yourself feel better.
I just realized, like, the entire retreat is physically and spiritually a rebirthing. We literally get naked as if we're birthing. We literally submerge in water. We literally scream and grunt and moan and laugh. And it's like we really let this darkness pass through us, and we support each other in birth. But it's really the birth of ourselves. And Erica and I are the doulas, and all the women who attend are the doulas to one another, to usher out these parts of us that we've forgotten, and the parts of us that we've forgotten to let go of, the pain, the disappointments, you know, the attachment to things we no longer want to be attached to, that we all share common ground on. And like the entire that's what it is. Like, retreat is a doulaed rebirth of your womb, of yourself, and releasing the parts of you that no longer serve you and calling back in the inner child. It's a rebirth of your inner child. And it does. It takes for you to be in a childlike state. It takes you to be at a pool in the sunshine on the beach with your girls. It takes you to be maybe with girls you don't know anymore, like you don't know at all, because you have the courage to be who you were as a child. And it's really, really, really beautiful, and it is nice to have the children there because it's a reminder.
It's a reminder, yeah. It's a reminder. Be like them. Be like this.
Yeah.
And they didn't have any problem telling us their feelings either, because that's the same thing with kids. Like, our kids were like, "This is how we feel. You're not paying attention.
Why did you have us come out here? I could have done this at home," is what Luna said. I said, "What would you have been doing at your grandmother's house?" "Playing." She said, "No, I'm going to the jump zone." I said, "Who was going to take you?" She said, "Murray." I said, "Well, Murray is here." and like her saying you, and I'm like, "Well, you're in a floor to ceiling windowed castle off the side of the ocean cliff, miss. You're pretty lucky. I'd rather be playing here than somewhere else." But it was like, those are her feelings. Mm-hmm. And like the fact that she had the intelligence and the vocabulary to express, "Hey, bitch, you could have brought me a little bit later in the game, you know? Like, I didn't need to be here if you weren't going to be spending time with us." And so, like, we would do days of healing and then go do 14 TikToks with our kids, you know? And that's another thing. Allowing each other to unravel and express the feelings, and normalizing listening to your daughter's feelings, to your sister's feelings. You know, even, you know, our nanny was like having a day because she's watching 2 kids all day being hidden. and she was like, "I'm just having a hard day. I think it's the new moon. And, you know, a guy was bothering me," whatever she was going through. And I was like, "Girl, you have to express that. You have to talk to us. Like, this is a part of the village." And it's like, no matter what the relationship, you know, even if it's not your closest friend, hold space for the next woman. "Hey, are you good?" I'm the type of bitch, if I'm walking down the street, I can see a stranger crying. I'm like, "Are you good? Are you okay?" I'll hug a stranger, you know, whatever. But like sometimes we forget to do that. Or like, "I don't have time for this today. I don't know. She got her own problems, you know?" And it's just like, even in a work environment, even with each other, even with our kids, in all spaces, be compassionate and empathetic and recognize that, like, bitches be having bad days because we're moody, because we feel everything. And that's a part of being a woman. You know, it's just, so we are like the water, and we can take on a lot of spaces and a lot of forms, but we're also very easily imprinted upon, and you have to be like able to like guard it, and also give grace to others and listen and be like, "You're right, daughter. I thought that," I was like, "Listen, I thought that you would like to be here with your friend. We're working right now, but we're at the end, you know, we have time at the end of the trip together." And that's all I could offer her, is the truth. And the truth is, overall, she doesn't really give a fuck about this big ass villa on the side of the ocean. She just wants to hang out with her mom. And she proved it, because later in the last stretch of the trip, my dear loving friend booked an Airbnb in the middle of, I don't know.
It was on booking.com, and booking.com had 5 stars, had lots of reviews. I did not know that it was very local.
We were on a budget, so it was very budget friendly.
It was nice inside.
It was nice on the inside, but on the outside, it was sketch. And I was like, you know, just when I think you're bougier than me, I'm bougier than you. Because before we went in, I was like, cancel it. Find another one. You're gonna take me from the side of the ocean mansion to this? What the fuck?
Or grounding.
I was like,
it's called grounding,
I was
bitch.
like, I'm too grounded. And so we went inside, and the girls were like, "I love it.
It's so amazing.
Oh my God, it's beautiful."
Wait. The best part was when they opened the windows, and the backyard was not, it was like
The
it was like a broken down garage of our next door neighbor, like a fucked up like lot, overgrown. It was not good at all. They were like, the view is beautiful.
They're like, oh my God, there's so many hide and seek spots. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, am I a bitch? Because I was ready.
They were like, they were just happy to get out of the other spot. This means mom's not working anymore.
Right? They're like, they're gonna be our friend. I mean, I'm sure they found a reason to talk shit to us 24 hours later, but it was a true testimony to they don't give a fuck.
You know,
but also just like the feelings, accepting that even people you work with, even people, everybody's gonna have feelings, and why not validate them and give them a hug and move on instead of taking it personally?
Amen, sister.
Let the church say amen.
Amen.
Do we need one of those buttons like pasture weed? So
like you put it right here.
Yeah, like
do.
Hallelujah.
Does that mean we have to wear headphones?
No.
We refuse to wear headphones. We're not those podcasters.
This is a TV show.
Anytime we go to a podcast studio and they try to give us headphones, we're like,
we don't do them. We don't do those.
I have an afro. I don't know if that's really going to work for me.
Then we're going to be like, our audio wasn't good. Like, bitch, because you should have been wearing your fucking headphones.
Well, anyway, I'm really excited for our retreat in Costa Rica. I can't wait. It's like our home base.
It just keeps evolving, and it's really beautiful to witness.
Now that we've gone somewhere else and coming back there feels even more epic for some reason. I don't know why. I'm just super excited to invite the women back to like our home.
Our home base.
Yeah. So if you're interested in coming, if the good vibe sounds like your vibe, make sure you check us out in Costa Rica, February 1st through the 6th or February 8th through the 13th. It's going to be everything we just talked about, plus more. It's such a beautiful, beautiful property, such a beautiful space. All the women that come are supposed to be there. It's like this sacred sister sorority, spiritual sorority energy that gets created when we link up and we let God kind of play the conductor of, okay, you are going to be here. You're going to come on week 1. You're going to come on week 2. Even like this last retreat, one girl was supposed to be in week 2 and then switched to week 1. And I was like, you were supposed to be in this week for a reason. Mm-hmm. So I'm just excited to bring you guys back to Costa Rica. So make sure you check out the link in our episode to get the details on that. We pulled a card at the top of the show.
We did.
What was it?
Ooh, that backwood got me a little.
I know, the backwood's be hitting, girl.
This is a 2 of Pentacles. No, 2 of Wands. Sorry. The 2 of Wands. Shout out to Biddy Tarot.
Should we email them one day and tell them we we use them exclusively on the show?
Are we getting in trouble?
I don't think we've ever even told them.
We should. Upright means future planning, progress, decisions, discovery. And the 2 of Wands takes the spark of inspiration from the Ace of Wands and turns it into a clear action plan. You went through the discovery phase, and now what you want to manifest. Now you need to figure out how. You're exploring your options and carefully plotting out the path ahead, accounting for all possibilities and potential challenges. You are open to growth and exploring new territories, so long as you maintain a level of certainty that your efforts will work out in the end. When the 2 of Wands appears in a tarot reading, you are not ready to make your move. It's more important that you establish a clear plan before proceeding. The 2 of Wands is also about discovery, particularly as you step outside of your comfort zone and explore new worlds and experiences. It may take courage to set out, but this card gives you the confidence of self-knowledge. You know what your goal is, and you are sure of its eventual fulfillment. Let your intuition and passion guide you as you confirm your next steps. It indicates you're considering longer term goals and aspirations and are ready to plan what you need to do to achieve them.
Sounds about right. Also,
shout out to Mahogany Tarot. All brown and black people on the deck. Our favorite deck.
I know. Well, that resonates with, I think, where we're at.
Yeah. So. Long-term plans. We've been doing this for 5 years, darling. Our baby is 5 years old.
The entity we birthed.
Entity we birthed is 5 years old.
Wow. Shout out to everybody who's been listening for 5 years.
Yeah, I know it's been quite a journey.
If you're listening, I mean, obviously, hello, all new listeners, but if you're an OG listener, I love you. I fucking love you.
I really do love you.
Thank you. Thank you for sticking by us. Thank you for riding with us. Thank you for not judging us or judging us and then not judging us again, allowing us to be that process for you. And I'm just grateful for this space that I've been given to feel safe to share the inner workings of my thoughts, my life, my mistakes, my judgments, and I'm high.
Me too.
And I'm high. So thank you. I'm high at work, so thank you.
I'm high. Whoa. What do you do at work?
Thank you for letting me get high at work, guys. And
it's part of the brand.
And talk to my friend every week. Thank you. Appreciate that.
I really do. I really do. Who knows what, like, if we would even been friends had it not been for the podcast. Like real friends.
Well, something told me to go to that bathroom. Something told me to come to that bar. Something brought me to your Instagram. Somehow I didn't know I never saw you really before that. And so it was all as it should be.
In perfect timing. And thank God for like Luna and Irie being able to have like the sisterhood that they have and be able to grow up with each other.
I was looking at them in Mexico and I was like, they've known each other their whole life. Like they will always have that and continue to have that. And I can't wait to see how that evolves and what that looks like as adults, and teenagers and 10-year-olds and however long it goes, you know.
Yeah. What a blessing is sisterhood.
Well, you ready to get out of here, my love?
I am. I have some work to do. I have a 30-page paper due. So.
Oh my gosh. College.
I'm in college-ish. I'm almost a tantra practitioner and sexologist.
I love that. Oh my God. It looks like you have a little like mole right here and you look like, for some reason, you look very official.
Very official.
Like I could see you.
I'm Milah Mapp, the tantric practitioner and sexologist. How can I help you? How can I help your vagina?
How can I improve your sex life?
How can I improve your pleasure?
How can I help you embody every juicy part of life, joy, and sex, pure sex?
Ah. You can start by saying, ah. That's how I'm going to start all my sessions.
When we were in the Temescal at the retreat, I literally heard, and I don't know who it was, but I know how every person sounds during sex. And that was the craziest thing, to be in a womb and hearing everyone's sex sounds. It was like, I felt overwhelmed. Like my heart started pounding. Like my heart was racing. I felt like this energy, like building and building and building.
That's the thing about Tantra, the really like magical, like witchy shit that happens in Tantra is that it starts to teach you and like unveil the power of sex as women and like the power of pleasure, sexual pleasure. And that doesn't mean necessarily in, you know,
an act,
the sex act with someone else, or like, you know, but just the energy, this life force energy. And it also kind of it starts to help you cultivate like just destigmatizing it and not it always having to be erotic, and how even for our self-devotion ceremony, showing up in our sexual essence and moving sexually and like sweating and moaning and like doing it in a non-erotic but erotic platonic space is powerful. It is the exercise of the womb, you know, and like we have to exercise that sex chakra, move it, because that is really, especially as Black women, like something that's been taken from us quite literally, and it's on a cellular level. We have to build back up that muscle memory, that spiritual memory of like how powerful that is, without like thinking it's gross or nasty or lesbian or whatever the fuck things people make it. Because I'm sure it's like people listening to this are like, what the fuck are they doing at that retreat? But like Just
like having it be for you and not for an end result of something else.
Right.
I think that's what people think, like, oh, you want that because you want attention, or you want to get fucked, or you want
Right.
It's all about everything outside of yourself. Like when we're doing these ceremonies, it's really about kind of building up that sexual energy for yourself, in yourself,
with each other and
Right.
together, and
there's no end result. There's no like,
except that you sweat it out.
there
You
is a
move
result.
it,
The result
yeah.
is for yourself. It's not for anything else. And I think even as women, like, if you are listening to this and you automatically think, because I think women think, like, if women come together and they're doing like sexy shit, are they like lesbians? Are they like, is something nasty happening
Right.
there? And it's like,
No. Then we went downstairs and ate dinner.
We ate delicious dinner, and I cried.
There's just like a sensual aspect of like being in tune with your sexual essence without having to give it away. And we've been so tainted too to be thinking that it means that we want attention, that it means we want to get fucked. It literally, we have come so far from it because it's a form of protection. We've had to protect ourselves in places because we haven't been safe, because historically bad things have happened to women who are sexual or sensual. But it's you have to remember that is not the truest essence of it, and that's not how it's supposed to be. And being in those type of environments and cultivating those type of ceremonies and just energy is powerful. And I can just see tribeswomen doing it all over the world in ancient times in very little clothing, but just like bringing back the sex. Bring back the sex.
Bring back sex again.
I'm bringing sex back.
I'm bringing sexy back. I'm bringing sex back.
I'm bringing sex back. Bringing sex back to the woman.
I'm going to make those red Donald Trump hats that say, bring back sex again.
Make sex great again. Make sex pleasurable again.
Bring back sex again.
Make sex
good again.
Good again.
We're
going to work on that.
Work in progress. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I love you.
I love you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys. And we'll see you next week. Make sure you go rate and review us on Apple Podcast. Check out the retreat. Check out our cute ass merch. And see you next week.